I grew up in Denmark, Copenhagen. I was born in Frederiksberg. Came to live at Corona on Kort Ellerskade, down in the Gammelholm district, which is basically a very historic part of town.
There's a place that's called Hvidovre, which is, it's very close to Copenhagen. So I was born there to my parents who are from Switzerland and Germany.
My parents, they met in Copenhagen. They're both Swiss, and they met, and then they had me. So I grew up, that's where I was born, in the Cadet Org.
The Cadet Org is for the children of members of this organization, the religious order of Scientology.
If your parents are part of this religious movement, this religious order, the Sea organization, they're spending a certain amount of time administering to the parishioners of the church. So you're in a group of similarly aged kids.
So I grew up together with other children that were part of that same group. We had a nice community of kids that could grow up together.
I had two parents that really cared about me, and if I ever had any problem or whatever, like I could go to my parents, and they would help me out.
We would often go visit them at work. And so we would see them, it was very easy because where they worked was only like 15 minutes away. So we'd walk, after school, come see them.
They had additional time to see me, and same with all the parents there. So my parents always knew what was happening. They knew what I was learning. They knew the updates on, what was happening in school, how I was doing in school.
Every Saturday, like me and my dad and my sister would go around to what is called kiosk. In Denmark, a kiosk is actually a little shop. So we would go to a new kiosk and find our favorite ice cream. That was our game.
We'd go to the bakery and get the, fresh baked bread, rundstykker, and bring it, and then wake up the parents, But that was Saturday morning breakfast, staple, whole life.
You had your parents, but then you also had the nannies who, they cared about you, they wanted you to do well, they loved children, and you could feel that. Like as a child, you felt loved.
My favorite was Christine. She was from Belgium, and she was the most caring individual. She would listen to us. Realize we're a bunch of little kids, mischievous, like a normal kid.
So it was definitely a way to have the children there taken care of to make sure they have what they need. If they get sick, bring them to the doctor. If they need to go to the dentist, make sure they go to the dentist. That they don't just after school go roam around the town, but actually are in an environment where they're taken care of.
We were, 20, 30, and it was fun. Everybody was one family, you could say. And even if there were differences, which you always have, we learned to, grow together and help each other.
Our schedule generally was we'd get up in the morning, have breakfast, of course, and then we would go to school.
So I went to Amma International School. It was a school that had, was accepting all kinds of religious students, and we had all kinds of nationalities. That's the great thing about the school I went to, is that you got taught how to learn, which is missing in life out there. We did courses like learning how to learn, how to use a dictionary.
So schooling for me, that was a breeze, going through all the regular subjects, chemistry, geology, geography.
Languages, I learned English, German, French, Danish, of course, which funnily enough, my Danish was my highest score.
We actually had music lessons, we had art lessons, we had sport lessons.
Physics and chemistry was definitely what I liked, so that I would also do experiments in the Cadet Org on these. Sometimes it didn't go exactly as well as it should, but whatever, learning experience.
After school, there are basically three things, which we had after classes that we would be working on, which is reading, writing, and arithmetic. That later in life, has been like math, anything having to do with math has been just a very easy subject for me. I became a mechanical contractor in the state of Florida. For me, it's just been very easy.
Once we were out of school, we could go places. We go to libraries. Copenhagen has a number of public libraries. We had bicycles, we could go to the park. Often during the weekend, we go to museums.
the National Museum of Minerals. Thought that place was fascinating with all the crystals and whatnot, but they have a meteorite outside in the yard, or it's the National Art Museum, or the Botanical Gardens.
We would go to horse races, we would go to all the amusement parks like Clanton Ball and, Tivoli.
But yeah, we were out a lot, like, either playing football, what we call, European football, or we had some form of a baseball we used to play.
I loved going to the beach. Like any opportunity I could, we'd go to the beach and I would just swim for hours and the nice cold Danish water.
That was sort of what we used to do. It's like every day there was some sort of outdoor activity so that, we were extroverted all the time.
We definitely had chores, but it normally was, I remember, it would take about an hour, then you would do basic cleaning or whatever. We'd help out at the church. That was a lot of fun because it was sort of where the grown-ups were, so you were there and you filing, or whatever it is.
Some kids are spoiled. We weren't spoiled. We learned that you have to actually work, you have to produce, and that exchange can be anything. It could be love, it could be, sweep a room, make a bed.
We were always accepted. People let us help if we wanted to, and that was something that was like, we liked that. We liked to be part of whatever was going on.
As part of that group, there are like certain moral values, that you're being taught, based on the works of L. Ron Hubbard, where he's laid out the precepts to, if you follow these, then you'll be happy in life.
I learned things that I value to this day because I learned things that were very valuable to survival, to, helping people.
Be responsible. Not expect that mom and dad will bail you out for any mistake. Own up to mistakes.
If you did something where you treated another that, you wouldn't like to be treated, it would be pointed out. Would you like to be treated that way? No. I was like, okay, good point.
If I give my word, I gotta keep it. If I come in a situation where I really should help, somebody or something, like I'll do that. I mean, that's another takeaway from that time period.
But the friendships that I made, they're still friends today. Like I'm working with 3 of them right now. It's like growing up with 50 brothers and sisters.
We were very close. Like even now, if I run into anyone else, they'll come visit, or, if I go back, to Denmark and go visit anyone, it's instant, love all over again because you grew up together. You went through, your whole childhood with them.
That's my experience in Denmark. It's a lot of fond memories, a lot of good experiences, a lot of freedom, a lot of able to do and kind of create a life.
Between my parents and that group that I grew up with, I could thank them for that, and it's an experience I wouldn't sell for anything.